If the Lakers don't make the playoffs, or they get bounced out early in the playoffs because they weren't able to make any moves once the trading deadline expires, the LeBron you know, how's he going to feel about that?
We're in uncharted territories. I don't know that LeBron, because he's always made the playoffs. I remember one time that he didn't make the playoffs. We played each other the last game of the year in 2004.
Yep.
And I think, I forgot who won to get in on that AFC, but they took care of business. They beat us. He was so disappointed after the game. I remember walking through the hall. I didn't even say anything to him because he looked very upset. And, people were talking to him, and, his head was down. And that was one of the only times I've seen him like that.
Hold on. Last question. Seedings, playoffs, East-West, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Do you think the NBA should ever go to a point where you just take the top 16 teams in the league and do away with Eastern Conference, Western Conference playoffs?
I think it's going to happen. You've already seen it happen with the All-Star game. I think that's maybe like a slight, turn in that direction.
Do you think it should?
I think it should. I think, the fans deserve it, in my opinion. I think a few years ago, if we would have been in the playoffs, if they would have done that, we would have been going to Portland. I think back in 2013.
Right.
Way different. I think it's a shake-up. I think it's about time for a shake-up in the league. I think fans would appreciate that. You'd have to figure out the dynamics of who plays who and kind of.
Well, I think it would elevate the importance of the regular season competition.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, you can't take any games for granted because you're not just looking at your conference. You got to look at everybody.
Yeah, when it comes to this stuff, I'm always the grouchy old timer. I just like it the way it is. And then later on, I realize, I was wrong. The wild card is good. Look, I don't think it's coincidental that LeBron just suffers the worst loss by point margin in his career in a game in which he played. Right after all these trade rumors come out and all these young guys on the team hear their names in trade rumors. To me, that seems to have demoralized them. We saw it in Cleveland last year, the same sort of thing. Everyone's name's in a trade rumor. Boy, at that point, you got to clean house because these guys don't want to play for you anymore.
Right.
Whoa, that puts some pressure on Magic and LeBron because they're in danger of not making the playoffs as this continues. Must they now move these guys even if there's no AD trade there?
Well, they have definitely made a dynamic because these are young guys, so they were just in high school 2 and 3 years ago. They don't know anything about the business of basketball. So I don't think it's a coincidence that right after the trade rumors, they come out flat. And don't get me wrong, Indiana's pretty good, but their best player isn't playing. There's no reason to lose by any team by 40-plus points in the playoffs, especially with all the talent.
Can this group get it back together if they're not dealt and make the playoffs?
I think so. They just have to have a serious talk, and I think they'll probably have to, get some stuff out and lay it out and then build from there.
I think they'll be just fine. They were just going through. Listen, ain't no way in hell you lose by 40 to Victor Oladipo less Indiana Pacers team.
Yeah.
They didn't show up yesterday. Trading deadline, their head was all screwed up.
Probably
they'll be
asleep.
fine.
Yeah.
Question for you. If you look at this right now, the Philadelphia 76ers just acquired Tobias Harris to join with Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. So now we're looking at the Eastern Conference, Boston, Toronto, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. Can any of them give the Golden State Warriors a run in the finals in your estimation?
I don't think I'm not sure. Milwaukee's not proven. They're having a phenomenal year right now, but we've seen people have phenomenal years and kind of trail off in the playoffs because it's a different game.
Yep.
I don't know, Toronto, they've beaten the Warriors once. I don't know if that gives them confidence this year or not. I think the Sixers, they're still trying to figure things out. Ben Simmons still has to improve. Joel Embiid, I think he has the opportunity to be one, if not the best player in the league in the next 5 years. It's still more things to learn for those guys. One of the things that disturbs me as an older guy watching basketball is this was the year that Golden State was slipping a little bit, And
then Boogie shows up.
Well, Boogie shows up and they get better, but where's the other team to say, oh, that's their rival?
What about Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City's doing very well.
Defensively.
Defensively, they're very well. And I do like Oklahoma City. I liked them last year as well. I think they're the best matchup in the West against them because they can switch everything. They're long. They play great defense. Steven Adams can move his feet and stay in front of guards. And I mean, they seem to have better team continuity. And you get the ball in Paul George's hands late in the game. If it's close, he's a very good closer.
Is he that kind of, like, how much do we in the media overplay that, or are we right about that? Because to me, between evenly matched teams, not that there's an even match for Golden State, but between teams of similar talent, I say, for example, if Kyrie had the same kind of team around him Steph had, I like Kyrie's team. Even though Steph's better, Kyrie's got something in those moments. Do we overplay that? Is that a BS? Or is there something to it? And you just said Paul George is that kind of cat. You believe that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just something. Look, some guys just have that in their DNA to hit big shots. Paul has that. He has great handle. He's very good defensively, so he can stay on the court late in the game. But he's a phenomenal shooter, and he can get his shot off anytime he wants.
Last question. Paul George, is he now what he was when he faced y'all in the conference finals when his star was ascending before that nasty injury in Team USA? Is he better now, or is he that guy?
Oh, I think he's better.
Better?
Yeah, I think he's better. I mean, I think one of the things he probably had to do when he had that horrific injury was change his game and kind of fall back and understand who he is as a player and how he's going to continue to be effective. That Paul George, same shot-making ability, probably not as smart as he is now, not as explosive as he is now, but that can be a better thing because you have to learn that
like
in
Jordan in
between
the
game.
second three-peat.